Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Tone Talk with Mark Uzansky and Dave Friedman. Dave, you got that smile on your face.
Well, that's because I just saw a beer or something.
Oh, okay. I was
That's
like,
okay.
what?
You can drink on the show.
Yeah, you can drink. You can drink on the show. Yeah, Tim Caswell. What's going on? I have heard about Tim for a long time. Tim Caswell of Caswell Amplification, as well as Amp Mods, and we were just talking about that he does
Studio Electronics, correct? Is that the name of the
Studio Electronics, right?
Yeah.
Studio Electron. All right, I'll update the title. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Maker of many synths.
Many
Many synths over the years. When did that start? That started what year?
I think it probably the late 80s. We started out by rack mounting the Mini Moog. And
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, lots of custom work early on, at least.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of mods right at first. We rack mounted the Prophet 5, OB8, TR-808 drum machine. Of course, the Mini Moog, that was the best, most popular one.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, so now how did you get started in this crazy business?
Being a guitar player in bands in the 70s, touring around the upper Midwest, and you get out in the middle of nowhere to play and your mix board doesn't work, and it's like, geez, I should probably figure out how to do this stuff.
Right.
So I just started buying books and trying to build stuff, and eventually some of it started to work.
Yeah, the early days are always like that. Eventually it was good.
What kind of books did you buy? This is obviously pre-internet, so
yeah, it was a lot harder to get information. Like National Semiconductor put out some really good application books. A lot of them Texas Instruments. That mostly get them from the chip maker companies. Then there was a few books about how to do amplifiers and synthesizers and things around then. Not a lot though.
Right, for sure.
I would imagine.
I found out then too, like if you buy a book and it didn't make any sense at all, then buy another book and a little would make sense. Then buy another book and a little would make sense. If you got enough books, all of a sudden, gradually, it would start to make sense.
Yeah, and then the first book started to make sense after a while.
Right.
Yeah, you can't just buy one book though. That never does it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But the internet though nowadays, it's you can learn anything you want.
Well, now you can watch a YouTube video and it'll teach you the basics like right away, right? And you can hit the ground running. And there's also guys like Jason Tong who has videos on how to modify your amps and stuff like that, right? So
yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. Yeah,
but
I actually think there was a heyday of, now we have a whole different world with AI coming in, but there was kind of a heyday on the internet with like a lot of technical information, and some of that's been lost, unfortunately. Like there's a lot of things that used to be on the guitar forums or different kinds of forums, and the forums eventually went away, and so did all the information, unless you're searching back in the Wayback Machine or something. But yeah, so like it's funny. You used to be able to search for very specific things, technical things, and ask internet a question essentially, and you used to be able to get the answers. And now it's like, where is all that information? Where did it go?
Well, the forums, right? A lot of that stuff just kind of
a lot of them went away. It just changed.
Now I wonder if you ask AI, or if it'll give you the right answer. Like Chat GPT.
Well, you can try.
Interesting to find out.
You can try, and you'll get answers. Not always correct, but you will get some answers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'd say 90, 80, maybe 80, 90% of the time it's pretty correct. It's pretty spot on.
Parts of it are correct, but then there's like things missing or things incorrect or things. Yeah. But I imagine over time it will take over our world. Haven't we ever learned from the movie Westworld or anything?
Yeah.
Come on.
Clearly not. Clearly
we haven't.
No, or Terminator or whatever.
I mean, yeah, there's been enough movies. We should know by now.
You would think.
Yeah. When did you think this was a good idea?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but okay. So, all right. So you got into learning about stuff, and then what was the next step? Like, were you repairing amps, or how did that go?
I started, building mix boards and light controllers and effects and stuff for my band. And around '77, I just had enough of it. We were, touring around the upper Midwest during the winter all the time. And I just, it got very old. I moved out to California and built a recording studio in my friend's garage out there and just started doing some stuff. And a guy came over one time, a friend of my friend, and he said, you built all this stuff, huh? And I go, yeah. He goes, well, they need technicians in Silicon Valley really bad. And I go, well, they're not going to hire me. I never went to school for it. I'm self-taught. And he goes, hey, they need them really bad. He said, if you go start knocking on some doors, you can probably get a job. So I had a 1 day a week job working for the local newspaper back then. And I thought, geez, it might be nice to actually have some money. I started knocking on doors, and first couple places I went, they just turned me right back around. And third one I went to, I just said, hey, do you have an entrance test? And they said, yeah, we do, but you'll never be able to pass it. And I said, well, then it won't hurt if I take it, will it? So I took the test and I got hired.
That's awesome. And doing what? What were you doing?
It was the Sierra division. It's Lear Siegler. They made telephone test equipment. They sat me down with a box of bad boards and a test fixture and a test procedure. And they said, okay, here you go. Have fun. So fairly quick, I found a problem with the circuit board, whereas a capacitor around an op amp, it was missing a trace. It wasn't actually connected. There's this whole box full of bad boards where that op amp was oscillating. So I took it to the lead man and I go, hey, there's a problem with this board. And he goes, no, there isn't. We've been making that thing for 10 years. There's no problem. I go, yeah, look right here. And he's like, son of a gun. So
Then you became indispensable.
I went to the boss, and then I walk in the door. He goes, oh, quitting already? And I said, no, I need something to do. And he goes, what?
Wow. So then what happened from there? How long were you there?
I was there for a year. I got promoted up to the highest rate of pay I could have as a technician after a year. They wanted to give me a lead job in the department I was in, but it was a union, so somebody with a lot more seniority applied for it and got it. I was just, I don't know. I'd never punched a clock like that. And, it was 10-hour days, mandatory overtime. They bring you in Saturday, that sometimes they bring you in Sunday. And it's like, really, I'd never done that before. Never punched a clock like that for an entire year. So
Yeah.
decided it was time to move on.
Gotcha.
Learned a ton of stuff though.
Yeah, I bet.
They did everything in there. They had a machine shop. They made the metal work for the stuff. Soldered the circuit boards there. The engineering department, design stuff, sales and marketing, all that kind of stuff. It was all under one roof. So kind of learned a lot.
Yeah, right. For sure. So then you went from that job to somewhere else.
My girlfriend's mother had moved to LA, and we went down there to visit her during the Easter break. And I always thought LA was, like a cement jungle. And it was Easter time, and it was nice. It had been raining. Everything was green. Air was clean. And I thought, geez, this is nice down here. I kind of like this.
Right.
Well, I moved down there. I had a bunch of crummy jobs for a while. It did help. My girlfriend's mother managed apartment buildings, so I did building maintenance and tried doing TV repair for a while, which was a terrible racket. And then my girlfriend's mother goes, hey, there's an ad in the paper here. They need a guy to fix music equipment. And I'm like, that's what I really want to do. So I went and got that job and led to working at SIR.
You're right. And that's where it all sort of started in the music.
That was like a kid in a candy store. I walked in there and they showed me the shop, and I opened this filing cabinet and there's service manuals for everything I wanted to know. Like the Aventine Harmonizer, the Prophet 5, the OBX, all that stuff. There's service manuals for everything I wanted to know about. So there's a copy place that Kinko's across the street. I did a lot of copying and taking stuff home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
So let's, just for people who don't know, SIR, it was a studio?
Studio instrument rentals.
Yeah, there's other people have other words for for that. But,
Yeah,
sorry,
shit, I rented.
up in a road case.
Sorry, I rented. What are some of the other ones? I forgot.
Yeah, shit in a road case.
Shit in the road case, yes.
That's funny.
They were a backline company, and then they also had some rehearsals, studios and things for bands and stuff. So they were like a backline rental company, and I guess studio instrument rental company also for all sorts of things, drums and keyboards and you name it, guitars, guitar amps, all of the above.
But it wasn't a recording studio. They didn't have like
no,
we didn't have a recording studio. No,
and they're still around today in some form.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I think they're still around somewhere.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun though. I was responsible for fixing everything, and they had a Celeste that got rented one time. Those little keyboard that plays bells. So I had to get that out and make sure it worked. They had this Angeline, really, really weird old tube synthesizer. It got rented once a year because Happy Days was in production in the same block that we were in. And the union rules was they had to re-record the theme song every year. So this thing did that.
Yeah.
So I went out 1 year to do that, and I came back and sat until the next year.
Yeah, they did all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely kid in a candy store situation for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. So then you're repairing amps, but how did you get into like actually modding amps and stuff like that?
I don't think I really ever thought of that. And one time I came across a Fender Princeton that Paul Revere had modded. So I started playing around with that, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. Really had never thought about modding them, just keeping them working. So I wanted a Mesa Boogie, but I couldn't afford one. So I had a Fender Showman blackface and had the Boogie schematic. So I just turned that into a Mark II. And it worked out pretty good. Still have that. Played that
cool.
And that was
cool.
Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you can do this.
Right.
Wow. So I'm sure, Dave, you got 1,000 questions, but I'm just curious, like at that point, once you like kind of hit on that, was it like, because obviously you've got all these amps and all these people who are renting all this stuff, was it kind of like, all right, well, we've got a gold mine here. We can start modding things. People want more gain. People, I'm just curious, was that kind of how it worked out? Or
in a way, yeah. I had a friend, this guy named James Lum, who's a really great guitar player. He played for It's a Beautiful Day, Seals and Crofts, Diamonds, James Ingram. He did stuff for TV shows, did music for the Ren and Stimpy show, of all things. That crazy guitar enter on that show was him. So he was visiting me at work one day, and he goes, I've got this Marshall, and, I got to use pedals with it. Do you think you could make it so, I don't need to use pedals to get, good distortion? No, well, I'll have a bash. We had plenty of Marshalls, so I started playing with them. First, I tried to kind of the boogie kind of stuff with them, and it just did not fly in a Marshall. Just did not work. And about that time, I met Jim Rissy, who made Risson amps. He came in and he was hanging out, and we were talking, and he gave me a few pointers on how to work more on it, with the Marshall kind of situation. So I started messing with that, and I came up with something that I liked pretty well. So I did that for James and his friends, and there was an amp there that, the master volume was fairly new then, and we didn't really have many. We had a lot of the old 2 channels, and everybody wanted the master volume. So I converted the 77 JMP Mark II to 2203, and then I added my little gain boost mod. And I didn't tell anyone. I just put it into stock, and I kind of forgot about it. After a couple of months, the subject kind of came up, and the guy from Dispatch thought, oh man, that's the most popular amp in the place. That thing's rented all the time. I thought, oh really? And he says, oh yeah, that's on a ton of records, like Power Station and stuff like that. I'm like, really?
That's cool.
So that was the number. Was that the number? What number amp was that?
I didn't pay any attention. I don't know what stock number they put on that one. I call it stage 1 now, but I don't know what they called it. So there was this one last amp that the Boss Dolph Rump had brought back from the UK. It was a early super trim, hand wired.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, nobody's going to use the tremolo, and it didn't work without the pedal, and the pedal was missing. Right about that time, James Lum came back and he goes, that mod you did, it's okay. He said, I kind of like it. He said, but is there a way to get more gain? So I'm looking at the extra tube in that super trim and I'm going, yeah, I bet there is a way to get more gain. So in one day, I just whipped that together and plugged a guitar into it, and I went, "Oh, I like this."
So I think that was the famous amp that has been lost somewhere forever.
Yeah, that's the one George Lynch used.
Uh-huh.
That I know for sure. As far as who else might have used it, I really don't know. I saw that in the 90s. We went to SIR to rent a keyboard for our NAMM show display. And I asked if they had that amp. They didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, well, can I just look in the stock room? So I went in there and looked, and I found it. So it was still there in like the mid-90s.
Oh, really?
So this is the 39, number 39?
Yeah, that's number 39.
Interesting. And that's the one supposedly that Slash used too, right?
That was the conventional wisdom. I'm no longer so sure. In fact, I really kind of highly doubt it now.
Because there was a number 36 also.
36 was Frank Levi's copy of my the first one I did, the stage one.
Oh, okay.
And then he did one called 36, which was a copy of 39. I wasn't there by the time that stuff was going on, so I didn't really know. I don't know exactly what happened, what went down. I know this guy named John Rimus, who he called himself Mr. Minimite, got a hold of me in the early 2000s, and he was researching all that stuff, and I didn't know that much, so I hooked him up with the QC guy that worked at SIR then, who was the one who would actually pull the amps and get them to the guys that rented them. So he got a hold of him, and he told him a story, and he wrote that up. He had an article called "Sweet Marshall Low Mine," and in that one, apparently Slash used either that or the one Frank Levi did, or something. It's kind of foggy.
Right. Yeah. It's all speculative, a lot of it. I know Slash wound up with one that was a number 34 from SIR.
Yeah, he did buy that. He wanted to buy the one originally that he was using, but they wouldn't let him have it. But eventually they did sell him 34.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's a JCM 800 with 6550s. It's modded.
Yeah, it's modded a little bit.
Close to my stage one mod.
So if you wouldn't mind, because I think a lot of people who watch the show, and especially I know Dave, it'll go over my head. But can you like describe your mods? Like, we get pretty geeky in terms of like, what you actually do, and just curious, like, what capacitors, what values, all the types of things that you were kind of doing for these types of mods, without telling the secret sauce, I guess.
I think it's ad nauseum on the internet.
Is it?
Yeah.
And is it correct? Is the stuff correct? I guess that's the question.
I've seen some schematics for number 34, which is, really virtually the same as what I call stage one. So yeah, it seems pretty simple nowadays, but at the time actually when I first got a hold of a 2203, the master volume, I loved that. I thought it was great. I loved the way it sounded. And then my friend wanted more gain, and so I found a way to goose the gain up a little bit on it without actually changing the overall tonality. And I was really pretty happy with that for about a year. And then he came along and wanted more gain, and that's guitar players for you, though. You do the amp for a week or two, they're in heaven, and then they come back in 3 weeks and go, it didn't sound right anymore. Something happened to it.
Yeah, nothing happened to it. I want more gain. I want more gain. I don't know anything about this. No one ever asked me that. No, you don't. You want less gain. You don't know it, but you want less gain.
Yeah,
it's better. Trust me, it's better.
Yeah, most of the tones that people think are super overdrive distortion really don't have as much as they think.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not.
especially on record.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they think it's like if you heard AC/DC tone in a room, it's a Marshall just cracked open a bit. It's not even, it's a non-master volume Marshall cranked open where it's just starting to distort, but pretty much clean still. And they just smack it really hard, and that's what gives it the sound. It's way cleaner than you think.
But very loud.
But very, very loud, yes.
right.
Exactly.
Right. And Malcolm was probably cleaner than Angus, I would imagine.
Yes. Yes, he was. Yes, for sure. And it's but it records great. It records huge. It's better. But so it's funny. So Frank basically copied yours and added him to the stable over there for more.
The QC guy whose name was Glenn Buckley, who was a great guy. I worked with him for several years there, and I hooked up John Rimus with him, and he told him his version of the story. But he asked Frank to copy those two amps since they were rented all the time, and people would wanted them, and they'd be out on rental. Like George Lynch took 39 out on a tour, so it was gone for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So Frank more or less copied him. Did a little bit of his own thing, I guess, to him. I don't know exactly what was in them exactly, but the schematics I've seen for number 34 is very, very close to the one I had done. There's even stories where he said he took my mod out of 39 and redid it, but I don't know. Maybe he did later on. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. So that's the problem. We don't know what's true anymore. Frank has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Frank.
I just met him once briefly.
And he was a crazy rock and roll guy. But long before I knew anything about amps, I would have some work done by him and stuff in LA. Yeah. He was good.
So how long were you at SIR, Tim?
About 4 years.
Okay.
And I was there. I kind of came back to a few odd things for a year or so after that until I moved back here.
What like between what years were you there?
Geez, probably. I have my pay stub somewhere. I was about to burn them, and this other guy got a hold of me and started asking me questions about that, and I found them, and I'm thinking probably it was about 81 to 85, maybe.
Yeah,
it might have been 81 through 84, maybe. It was 4 years.
Talk about perfect timing. Yeah, it's good timing.
Yeah, that music scene in LA was really not that great at first. It was all that new wave punk stuff, which I'd been a rocker, all my life, so I didn't really much care for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Motley Crue was rehearsing at SIR for a year or two before they finally got, the record deal and got big, and everybody's going, heavy metal, yeah, right, yeah. They got the last laugh.
Yeah, and then bam.
Well, I mean, I was thinking Van Halen around that time too. I mean, huge.
Yeah, but they were like the ones that kind of got signed. Still, the punk scene and stuff was going on majorly.
Yeah,
right when they first got signed, it didn't like roll around to the rock scene till like 80, 81, and then it went crazy.
Mm.
Yeah, Van Halen must have come out in the 70s, because I remember playing around with the Devil in the band I was in that I quit in 77.
Yeah, they came out in 77, 78. I think the first album came out in 78. But they were together, playing from 74, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I was mad at Eddie for a long time for making all my guitar tricks obsolete. Everything I knew how to do. It's like, no.
Everyone said, yeah, the album came out and I heard Eruption, and then we were all like, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, that was the feeling, definitely.
What are we going to do now? What is he even doing?
Right. Well, that's the other thing. It was like, what the? I mean, I remember even as a kid, not even as a guitar player, it was just like, what is that? Is that even a guitar? Like, what is going on? Yeah, amazing. He definitely changed everything. But that's awesome. So from like 80, 81 or 80 to 84, 81, 85.
Yeah,
Um,
somewhere in there.
yeah, that's cool. So then what did you do after that?
I really did enjoy that job. It was, it was fun. It was pretty easy. The bosses pretty much left me alone. I could pretty much do whatever I wanted. I basically just played music and messed around with stuff all day and fixed the stuff that needed fixing. So, I mean, it was fun. I got to, we'd have people come in like Chaka Khan, Tina Turner,
Oh
Deep
yeah.
Purple came there for 2 weeks before they went on their Perfect Strangers tour,
Hmm.
they were my favorite band from the '70s. So that was kind of great getting to
Mhm.
hear them. Talking Heads would come in and rehearse.
Hmm.
So it was a fun place to work.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Eventually, I was really kind of into the synthesizers because that was the most exciting thing going on then. And ended up doing a lot of just fixing guitar amps that somebody put a guitar neck through the speaker, or tube went out and the fuse blew or something. Just it got kind of boring. It's really wanted to. I got a chance to work at High Tech Musical Services, which was owned by J.L. Cooper,
Hmm.
and that was we were warranty service for everybody: Yamaha, Roland, Korg, Sequential, and Sonic, Oberheim. Like everybody we did warranty service for. So that was pretty fun. Actually, I enjoyed that quite a lot. That's kind of when
Yeah,
I got
you-
into modding since MIDI had just come in then, so we were doing a lot of MIDI conversions.
yeah. Back in the day.
So then what year was the Soldano collaboration?
Yeah, that's a good
I
question.
had to be
88?
I know probably more like 90-ish, I think, or 90. Yeah, I think somewhere around well, maybe 89, 90, somewhere around there, I think. I don't think the X99 came out till then. He only started the company in 87.
Hmm.
And then
I've seen his amps around for a while. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I moved out to this place I'm at now in '90. I'm pretty sure I started working on that here,
Hmm.
but it's possible it could have been '89.
yeah, somewhere around there. Somewhere around there. And what a revolutionary thing.
I was going to say that is a piece of that is a real invention. I mean, that is amazing what you guys came up with. How long did it take to design it? Whose idea was it to come up with like the actual like mechanics of the pots working with the MIDI and everything? I mean, would love to hear like everything about it because it's great. I mean, so ahead of its time.
I'd actually been trying to build a programmable amp for years. I thought that would be the greatest thing. I had all these different prototypes laying around. Never really came up with anything I was totally happy with. But then it was a guy. I kind of wish I could remember his name. I think it was Ed. He was kind of the local guy for TC Electronics.
Oh yeah, Ed Simeon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he was talking to Mike Soldano about that, and he had that 3-channel preamp, and he was thinking, geez, would there be a way to automate that? And Ed said, well, geez, you should talk to Tim Caswell. So he gave me a call, and we started talking, and by then I'd seen been in some studios with flying faders on the mix board and stuff, and Mike says, is there a way to automate this without compromising the signal path? I said, well, the brute force way is motorize the controls. Yeah. So he goes, oh, can you do that? And I said, well, yeah, I think I can. Yeah. Actually, I brought mine in.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Let me make the screen big. Hang on 1 second. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, they just go instantly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's some pretty large motors in there. I would have used smaller ones, but they really didn't. The smaller ones didn't have enough resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun. I must say, I don't think we really made a whole heck of a lot of them, though. I don't really remember. It couldn't have been more than 200 or 300.
Yeah, I don't think so. I know it didn't quite catch on as it. The funny thing is, it actually sounded a little bit different than the 3-channel preamp. I remember that it
Probably did.
was a smidgen like softer sounding, or so to speak. But it was amazingly cool. I always love that concept.
They're so expensive to get, and
Yeah, that was the thing. Is originally we were hoping to sell that for around $1,500, but by the time Mike got his part of it done, it's like, no, that ain't gonna happen. And then, of course, right at the same time, Mesa Boogie came out with a tri-axis that was right around 1,500.
Yeah.
And ADA had that MIDI that preamp of theirs, and so the X99 was like way at the high end of the price range there.
Well, I imagine the production costs on it had to be pretty high.
Yeah, Mike went first class. That CNC front panel and everything, all the parts. It's all, all first class. That's the way Mike does things. He doesn't mess around.
No, yeah.
Well, that's the way to do it, right? So that's awesome. And they still stand up today. I mean, they're pretty cool.
I know up in my neck of the woods, Prince had a couple of them.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. I remember that. Sure.
People said he bought it because of the color. I don't know.
Well, it fits. Definitely fits.
He could play the guitar though, so I think he knew what he was doing when he got him.
Oh, so yeah. you applied MIDI to the motorized, and that controls. It was controlled a regular pot, or like I can't really remember how it was done. I remember.
This is a motherboard for my deluxe number 39, CA number 39, which I found was way more complicated to build than I had thought. So,
because you later did an amp.
Yeah, this is a motherboard from it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So the deal is, these pots, they were custom order Burns pots. So the front section is a 10K linear, and the back section is, these are 1 megs, and there's a 250K and a 25K.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then you get a double shafted stepper motor. So the back shaft connects through a coupler to the pot, and then the other end of the stepper motor sticks out through the front, and you put the knob on it.
Oh, okay.
So you're actually turning the motor when you're turning the knob.
Wow.
Got it. Oh, I see.
Is that patented?
Yeah, I thought about doing it, but then I thought, well, geez, they got flying faders and stuff, and patents are so expensive to get. And if somebody with more money than you wants to steal your patent, they can tie you up in court till you go broke. And so the kind of the conventional wisdom is, if you're a little guy, don't bother with patents.
Yeah, I see.
I mean, even just to do the patent search, having a patent attorney, figure out if it even was patentable. Yeah, I didn't have that kind of money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So is that still a possibility today to make something like that? The stepper motors and stuff?
I'm making the last 2 of these right now.
Oh, really?
And it's taken me forever to do it too, because it's just, I had no idea how much work this was going to be when I started out.
Uh-huh.
There's this, and there's a cat board, there's a motor driver board, there's a computer board. It's really complicated. There's a lot of hand wiring. The preamp tubes are on here, but the power tubes are in the chassis, so there's a lot of wiring. Plus, it's heavy. I've lugged it a few times, and
yeah. Why is it so heavy? Because the motor.
Basically, it's a 100-watt Marshall.
Yeah.
I went to Mercury Magnetics and had Serge and come up with my transformers. They're basically plexi transformers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about a 50-pound head to start with, and then you add in the motors, that adds up, and Ends up being about 65 pounds.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Which is
Sure.
it wasn't. I didn't mind that when I was in my 20s, but I mind it now.
Yeah, but believe me, I know. I was lifting 100-watt amps onto my bench, and I'm like, have these gotten heavier?
I use this. I don't play much electric guitar anymore. I play keyboards and acoustic guitar a lot. But last summer I had a electric gig where at a place where I could actually use the amp. So I took it and hauled a 412 cab. And I had a blast. But also by the time I got it back home, I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to be doing this again anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a once every 5-year occurrence.
Yeah, I've never actually I've seen pictures of that amp that you're talking about, but I've never actually seen one in person. I remember when you first did it, but I've never actually seen one in person.
What's it called?
It's a CA39. Yeah, I was gonna bring that in, but I don't even want to. It's 50 yards away in the shop up the stairs, and I'm just no.
You've never seen a picture of it, Mark?
No.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
I'll have to look
Pretty
it up.
Cool.
So you're not making them anymore? No more? You're done?
Yeah, I really never made very many of them just because, by the time I got the first 3 built, I was realizing, geez, I thought I could have my girls that do the synthesizer assembly. I thought I could have them make it. And they all just looked at it and they just went, not doing it.
Wow.
I had to do it all myself, and I'm just like, no, this is way too much work.
Right.
That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I can
it's cool though, because you have one row of knobs and it's just like, and it's very simple. It looks like a very simple amp, but in reality, you're switching gain stages in and out, and you're switching the pot where it is, and it's super cool.
Yeah, I do love it. I wish it wouldn't, if I could figure out an easier way to make the darn thing. I have a few ideas, but as long as you got the motors and everything, it's just it's kind of crazy.
There's a company who came out with something, basically kind of took your ideas. Aren't they called hook amps or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know if it works that well.
That's the thing. But yeah, I don't know if it works that well either. But it's one of those things where, you make the selection and the knobs turn and everything like that. So, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, the amps probably could be made. It's just not by your
not by me. Yeah, if I was had access to more assembly help, I could probably do it. As long as I didn't have to do it. But if I was still in LA, I could probably figure out how to get them made.
Those preamps would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, I have been thinking about doing a preamp again because don't break my back moving them around.
Yeah, and I mean rack gear is starting to come back again, or it's already been making a comeback.
We should talk.
Yeah. Ideas are floating.
We have the right manufacturing partner for my stuff, and that would not be something out of the wheelhouse at all. Just a question of if things are available today that can do that, and probably do it better now, right?
Most likely, yeah. There's a lot more parts available now.
Right.
I have some ideas.
That's something we should talk about, actually.
Yeah.
It might be interesting.
Yeah, I'm interesting.
Yeah, and then you get mailbox money, which is the best kind.
That would be awesome. That's great. I love the juices are flowing.
I always wanted something like that. I think that's a cool thing. I mean, you can apply it to a variety of circuits, but the same idea, but it's the possibilities are endless with that.
Yeah.
I mean, any which way you can imagine to turn the knobs, you can do.
Can you imagine that on the IRX?
Yeah. I mean, it's cool.
There's MIDI controllers on the knob. So if you got a, MIDI pedal, you can assign it to move the knobs.
Yeah.
I usually just use it for volume when I'm playing, and I use the other pedal for amount of delay, so I can crank on the echo, just on just particular notes instead of having it on all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I found out
cool.
was, after all the years when I, tried to build a programmable amp, and I started doing that before I knew how to work with microcontrollers. So, I really didn't really get anywhere. And then I learned how to do that, and it made it possible to do this thing. But after I got it, I found out I don't have the patience to take the X99 and take a bunch of MIDI effects and program a whole bunch of presets and then remember what in the heck they are.
Mhm.
So I end up using about 3 presets.
I think a lot of people are that way.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Kemper, which probably has, I don't know, 1,000 different presets on it. And I think I use like 3. Yeah. Like you said, 4 tops, like
The older I get, the less patience I have for it. Like the multi-dive menu of multi-effects, and you got to program this, and then, okay, well, if I want to send it a controller number to turn this block on and off, then what do I got to do? And wait, how do you program it? Shit, I'm going to put a pedal there. Forget it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Forget
it. I found out too, if I program a preset at home and I get it to a gig, there's almost always way too much effect on it. And then it's just like, going into the menus of all these MIDI effects and trying to, dial stuff back. And it's like, oh, geez.
Yeah, that's true. So how long did it take to design the preamp with Mike?
My part didn't take too terribly long. It took him like forever to get his part done. But
really? Why is that?
Well, he's a super perfectionist. But I mean, for me, my part of it wasn't really that hard. It's simpler than the synthesizers I was making at the time. So, the program, the coding and board layout and stuff, it was really not difficult for me.
But Mike had to get his shit together.
Yeah. Well, he did a lot of prototyping, and he wanted it to be perfect when it came out. And, it took him a long time. I shouldn't complain because I'm pretty slow generally too. That thing I was able to pound out fairly quick, but generally I'm not very quick.
Interesting. I want to jump into a couple questions, if that's cool.
Sure.
Neil Levine, this is unrelated to Tim, says, saw Billy Duffy playing with the Cult a few weeks ago, and he had 2 Friedmans on stage, which sounded amazing. Which models was he using? Do you know which models he was using?
Runt 50 and a Dirty Shirley. He might have only been using one of the 2, and one was a backup. He swapped. He used to have old B100s, and then he really liked the Runt 50, and then he also tried the Dirty Shirley, and then he really liked that, so he just bought both.
That's cool. Sonic Blue 1922. Thanks for the super chat. If a rumored preamp were to be released in 2026, would the Fryette 252 be a good fit? Also have an X88. Happy Thanksgiving all. Oh, cool.
A rumored preamp to release. Are you referring to me?
I think he's being coy.
252 would be a good fit, but they might have another option for you by then.
Okay. Oh, that's another
something
teaser.
Else coming with the preamp.
Oh, a matching set.
Could be.
Cool.
I know when Mike did the X99, he actually had a VHT power amp that he used with it. He loved that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't make his own. He liked the VHT so much, he just said, just get one of these.
Yeah, he would recommend that. And Stevie Fryette is an old friend of mine. So I remember when he brought a prototype in first time of that power amp. He still has the prototype too. It's
really
funny to see it. Yeah, he has it in the back when he does his videos on his show. He has it in the background. It's generally there.
Does it look like?
Oh, it doesn't really look like much of anything at all. It's kind of a bare metal chassis with no face on it, and it's like, it doesn't look like much. It did sound great at the time. It was cool.
Yeah. Sure. What were the tubes in it? KT88s?
Well, originally GE 6550s when GE existed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basile Tiffany 8850 asks, Jimmy Page's amp company sells amps for $22,000. How many do you think they need to sell to be profitable? I'm guessing the $22,000 amp market is tiny. Yeah, that's.
I think there might be profitable with one. Well, profitable. Okay, it depends on how many amps you make and what your costs were to do that. But I think every amp is pretty profitable.
I would imagine so.
Really profitable.
And not all of their amps that Sundragon make are the $22,000 model. That's like the high end one that's signed by Jimmy. I think that has all.
It's a whole half stack, I think.
Yeah, and it's also the one that has like all Newell Stark parts in it, I think.
Yeah, original GE power tubes and all sorts of things.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's what the market will bear, right? I mean,
if people have the money, I know I don't.
I think, and there was only so many made too. I think I don't know how many that was, and I think he sold them out.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
so good for him.
Yeah. There was a video. Tom Bukovac did a video playing one recently. It was maybe about less than 3 months ago. He did a video. He was at a music store, and I think he had like a half stack.
Dweezil Zappa just did a video on all of them, all the little amps and the big amp and everything.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he just did. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing. I started watching it.
Yeah, the little amp sounded really cool.
It sounded a little dark, but I guess that's how they sounded, But so yeah, cool. That I think that's Mitch Colby behind them, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He knows a few things about amps.
Yes, he does. You know, Mitch. You know Mitch?
Tim?
I have never met him. Read his book.
Oh, he has a book?
I think.
Well, the original, he was involved with no, wait a minute. That was Mike Doyle with the Marshall book. Mitch did some sort of book, didn't he? I think. I don't know.
I could find it in about 5 minutes in my office.
Right.
I could be wrong about that.
That's all right. Bill 4410. Tim, I saw there's a number 39. Oh, this is what we need to talk about exactly. So there's a number 39 hot mod coming out from Legendary Tones, our partner in crime. Well, it's David Zabatos from Legendary Tones. So David is working with you on a number 39 hot mod for adding an extra gain stage into people's amps, and it's going to be branded with you and Legendary Tones, right?
Right.
That's cool. So how did that come about?
He contacted me and told me what he does, and asked if I'd be interested in doing something with him, and I said, well, yeah, I guess, yeah. So he sent me some stuff. Sent me some of the ones that he'd already made, and I liked them. And he goes, okay, here's what I want to do for yours. And he sent it to me, and I played it and plugged it into my 75 Mark II. And I had some suggestions, few minor changes, and he did them, and I'm pretty happy with it. Really, I could definitely use that.
Cool.
I told him if I'd had those available back in the 80s, I wouldn't have bothered trying to come up with a high gain mod. I'd just put a plug one of them in and be done. Right.
Exactly. It's very super easy. So do you know when they're going to come out? Because I didn't hear from I didn't ask David when they were coming out. Do you know?
I think he's pretty darn close. I think he's got all the parts in now, and I think he's starting to build them.
Yeah, he sent me a picture, and I'm not sure if I'm able to share it or not. He's out tonight, but he sent me a picture of what they look like, and they look very cool. Let me see. Yeah, the knobs are really cool. I wonder, you think I could share what it looks like, Tim, or?
I don't think he'd mind. I certainly wouldn't.
Okay.
I haven't actually seen it yet.
Okay.
He's shown some like in the process of being made on his own social media. I think so. Oh, he might have shown that already. Yeah.
Ah.
Blue.
Yeah.
It's it's called the Caswell 1987 mod. So it's not called the number 39 mod, right? It's called the 87.
Yeah, he figured to go for a date rather than the stock number.
Right. So it looks super cool. So then the two little switches on there are thump and bite. And
is there 2 or 3 switches?
There's 2. There's 2 switches and a knob, a drive knob. Yeah.
Oh, that's the screw hole at the other one. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same format as like his other ones, and then just a different circuit or slightly different circuit.
Yeah, display's probably a little different than the other ones. Everybody likes something different. I tend to like stuff that's a little bit less bright than other people. I always, it's like with the Soldanos, I always thought that for me, they were a little hard sounding for my taste. But, when I hear someone play one, it sounds wonderful. So, but just for me, I tend to go probably maybe a little more MIDI, less bite, a little more. I want a little more thickness down in the mid range. So, David accommodated me on that.
Everyone has a different. I've found over the years, everyone has a different idea of what bright or dark is. And some people really want it excessively bright, and then I've run into other artists and stuff that is considerably dark. I mean, like really dark, and everyone sounds good. They're just different people's hands and different people's ideas of what's. I can't ever win with the bright or dark argument because it's like your amp's not bright enough. Can you make it brighter? Yeah. Okay, great. Well, now your amps are too bright. What? Come on, stop.
When I did those amps for George Lynch, I got to see them docking at the LA Sports Center. I was right in the center, about the 5th row in. And Judas Priest was the headliner. And I had just done a thing for them where they had a tremolo unit that Pete Cornish had made, and they wanted it to be able to sync it to a Lindrum so that they could have the tremolo be, in beat in time. Yeah. So I made a little box that would take the Lindrum sync, and they had a switch for different divisions so they could have it. So I'd done that for them, and so I got to see both of those. So got to hear George playing my amps, which is, that's always a thrill. He's a great player, and it sounded really great. And Judas Priest came out, and their idea was basically a stock amp they used treble boosters. And I couldn't take that for very long. It hurt. It was like pencils in the ears.
Right. Yeah. That was the original Judas Priest sound. Yeah. Treble booster into the stock.
Yeah, it was a bit gnarly.
Cranked
to the front.
Wow. Yeah, it's piercing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been fighting with that when I bought my first 100-watt Marshall in '69. They had just brightened them up. I wanted to sound the older ones, like what Eric Clapton had been using with Cream.
Yeah.
They'd been brightening them up for Pete Townshend, and so I got that thing, and boy, it had a lot of bite. I couldn't. It really was fighting with that thing all the time. I played outside a lot, so it was kind of okay, but the thing was bright.
Well, the super lead ones, basically, they had that huge bright cap on the volume, and that was half the battle. And most people didn't know that existed there. They're just like, oh, the amp's bright.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about amps then, so I didn't realize why it was so nasty.
Yeah, you take that out, and then you're like, oh, there we go.
Yeah, I sure wish I'd have known that. I really wish I'd known about master volume.
Yeah, right.
By the way, I'm sharing this this is the Legendary Tones page, and he does have it on the page here.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. So I did not realize that. So there you go. Which is super cool. Looks great.
Yeah, I thought I had seen it. So,
And are they available yet? Or yeah,
I think he said he's taking pre-orders right now. I know
orders
he's
will
building
ship.
the first run of them now.
There you go. This orders will ship December 25th. So guys, go to Legendary Tones. It's on the front page. If you want to grab one, pre-order and get the 1987 mod. It's the infamous number 39 mod turned into a standard Marshall into a snarling, harmonically rich beast. So that's super cool. And then you can still get the Mr. Scary mod and the Hot Mod Evo.
So how close is that 39 with this hot mod to if you put it in, say, a JMP or 800 style circuit to your number 39 schematic? Because I can't recall. I've looked at your number 39 schematic, but I can't recall.
The ones that are out actually aren't right
Correct
on that one. I had changed at a certain point, and the way I changed it to, that's what's out. But I've gone back to the original one now. But so I A/B'd these a lot between that and that module, and they're close. They're not 100%, but that really wouldn't be possible. Like going into
right.
that the socket that it goes into, the tone driver, it's really not possible to exactly duplicate number 39 that way.
Right.
But, for all practical purposes, I'm very happy with it. I think it's it's as close as you can get without modding the heck out of the amp.
Right.
I would happily use it. Plug for product that I'm involved with, but
well, I'll have to get one. It's killer. Okay, next question. Daniel Belensky. Hey Dave, building an 80s rack, amp effects loop and Musicom Lab Paralyzer are +4 dBu unbalanced. PCM 70 can do line instrument. H3000 is line level only. How should I deal with line versus instrument levels?
Well, all the stuff you just mentioned are all line level. So, and the amp effects loop, I see. Well, what is your amp effects loop? Is it a line effects loop, or what kind of amp is it? That's the real question. But if you're going to use this rack mount gear, it's line level stuff for sure. So I would need more information.
Okay.
More information.
More info. Let us know. Tris Mahaffey. Thanks for the super chat. Just popped on. So sorry if this was asked. Yeah, we covered this. Did you cover the backstory on the legendary number 39? Thanks, guys, for the great show. Yeah, we did talk about that modded amp from SIR. So you can just rewind and we cover it. Let's do the rest of our sponsors, if you don't mind. So let's also talk about, we got Sweetwater. So
Black Friday sales.
Yeah, Black Friday. We have a link below our videos. Every video has a link to our sponsors, including our affiliate link for Sweetwater. So check out our link, start buying your stuff. It doesn't cost anything extra, but we appreciate any purchases that you can buy using our link, and it just gives a little kickback to the show. So make sure you check out Sweetwater. All right. And then the next one is fixpedalboards.com.
Yes, for all your pedalboard accessory needs and little metal doohickeys and pedal lifts and hinged lids for pedal boards and all sorts of fun stuff that Tim over there makes.
Power supply mounts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It makes
and one of these days he'll have a new website.
It's all right. It still works. Good stuff. Here's About Us. Built to Last. He's in a 62,000 square foot shop. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is that close to your shop, Dave?
No, it's in Lancaster, California, where no person should live. But that's a different story. It's Yeah, it's a huge metal fabrication facility. So they do all our amp chassis and all our metal fabrication.
Mm.
So,
And this is not the same Chapman that's involved.
Robert F. Chapman is technically the name of the company.
Okay.
That was, I can't remember why it was called that, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not
it was from a long ago.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one we got is
Thomann.
So make sure you guys check out Thomann. I'm sure they've got their
Cyber Week. It looks
Cyber
like
Week.
we got a sale going on.
I've never heard of Cyber Week before. Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff
for all our European viewers. They, like I always say, it's the European Sweetwater.
It is.
It's basically what it is. They're a big, huge place. I've been there.
Have you?
Yes, I've been to Thomann.
Where are they?
It's like a city.
Are they in? It's Germany.
Yeah, it's Germany. Yeah, way out and way far out. But they like employ the town basically.
Yeah, they're our European distributor.
Yeah.
Good people.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, good people. Yep, good people. And also, I can mention also that speaking of sales, that all the boutique brands have Black Friday sales going on. So Friedman has Black Friday sales, and Tone King and Soldano and Morgan and everyone. I think everyone has a Black Friday sale going on. Wampler. So check that out if you're interested in something. You get a little discount.
Cool. Yeah, I got an email from JHS. Actually, they have a good sale coming up too.
Everyone does them so early.
Yeah,
like
the holiday
before the holiday.
William Payne, thanks for the super chat. Stuff it. What is it? I'll join in. Everyone here is potentially old and experienced enough to answer this. Has anyone actually made a viable mustard capacitor replacement to where you would not need a new old stock one?
Yeah, I mean the Synergy mustard caps that we use are almost sound identical. So, yeah, I mean those I would say.
Okay, well,
it makes less of a difference than you think, though. To be honest,
can you really get new old stock mustard caps at this point anyway?
Yeah, it's harder and harder all the time. You can, but it's not. Prove to me how much different it sounds. That's what I would like to say, because I don't think you'll find it sounds as different as you think it does.
And after a certain point for age, I mean, don't you start worrying about whether the tolerance are drifting on them? They're not good anymore.
Good question. They're probably still fine. Those caps, the coupling caps,
okay.
But electrolytic caps are what would not be fine still.
Right, I see.
But yeah, I mean I mean like what I said. But you can make an amp with something modern that also, if you can make a clone of an amp and put it up against the real amp, and you'd be surprised of how little difference there would be. So as long as you're using a decent quality cap. There's certain caps that have a little kind of a signature thing to them, though, that sound a little different, sure, in guitar amps. But there's certain ones I avoid that I don't like. But even though they're good quality caps, I mean, I don't care for WEMA caps that much, to be honest. But that's me. I find them a little bit veiled and a little dark sounding to me, a little too smooth. That might be fine for certain circuits that you need that in. That might be great, but it's like I just did this too, and I tried to use them in something, and I built the amp, and I listened to it, and I'm like, No. I literally changed all the caps across the entire board to something much more simple, like a Panasonic cap.
Huh.
And I was like, there we go. Okay. That's fine.
I like those old Panasonic caps. It's
Yeah, the Panasonics are good sounding cap. They're good. They're fine. So
That guy a couple questions ago, you say he's building an 80s rack. That's another thing I forgot I'd used to do. I met this guy named Herschel Blankenship that had a store in the valley called Lab Sound.
yeah.
It was LA Boogie. He was the only Boogie store at the time. You'd have to otherwise buy direct.
Yeah.
So him and another guy named Brian Swordfeger who worked with him.
Yeah.
They tried to work with Bob Bradshaw to build some effects systems, and they just couldn't. He was too busy, too expensive. They couldn't work with him, so they got a hold of me and said, "Hey, can you build an effects switching system?" So well, yeah, I guess I could. So I did that for a while.
Oh, so you built the lab switchers?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's called The Switch.
Yeah.
And I had them. I still have. I had a shearer and a bender. I did the metal work myself. Made my own silk screens.
Wow. You just learned to do everything over the years, huh?
Used to be that way. Now I'm kind of like to have people that really know what they're doing do it. And I just stick to what I know. But
yeah, sure.
I was ignorant enough when I was younger to just think I could do anything.
Well, you learned about it all. So I think ultimately, you learning about it and what it takes to bend metal and do silk screening and this and that later is like when you're working with someone that does that, you can articulate exactly what you don't want or want. So I think that's an important skill to have learned, really.
Yeah, back when they had metal shop, 8th grade metal shop, they taught me how to bend sheet metal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore. But
no, they don't.
They probably should again.
They should.
They really should.
Trade jobs will be are our kids' futures.
Yeah,
because AI will take over all the other pieces of the puzzle, except for things that can be physically done.
Yeah, like, well, even doctors might even become obsolete at some point. To be honest with you,
Yeah. Most people I talk to about that are like, now it's like, yeah, get your kid into some trade that can make, have him be an electrician,
mechanic. Yeah.
Plumbers and electricians make a lot of money.
They do make a lot of money.
It's a great trade. It's a great trade. Even the AC guys, like air conditioning people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those guys down here in Florida, they make a killing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I bet. You can't live without it down there.
Yeah, no, you needed
20. Well, Los Angeles too, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're in, people's air conditioners are breaking all the time, and they need the repairs and they, short supply.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Well, we can get out there next week. Next week, it's 90 degrees outside. What are you gonna die?
Yeah. It's sad. It's crazy, but the trades they need to come back. It sounds like they're going to come back.
Yeah, I think it will in a big way. I think it's already starting.
Robots.
That's true. Someone's got to fix the robots.
Fix itself.
Yeah. So Pentatonic Prancer says, "Hello, everyone. If a Friedman, Caswell, and Jose had a baby and it was programmable, sweet mother of tone,
would be very interesting."
That would be very interesting.
I'd enjoy that if I didn't have to build them.
Yeah.
Again, maybe we will be talking.
Joshua Alanis. See, I got that right because you gave it to me. Tim and Dave, familiar with anyone putting in bright caps on input 2 of old non-master volume Marshalls? Thanks.
Well, you can. it does sort of present a slight dilemma. Well, it depends on if you're talking about a bright cap on the volume knob, or if you're talking about a bright cap across the mixer resistors and a Marshall, because it does present an interesting dilemma if you put two bright caps on the mixer resistors, and then if one pot is at ground, then you have a cap going to ground.
Mm-hmm.
So if one is off, then you have your high end cut going on too. So, of course, if you have the volume up, it kind of negates that, but on the other channel. But yeah, I mean, you can do it. I've done it for people. And like the Plex amp I make, which is like a Plexi on the bass channel, has a switch that has bright caps across the pot, but it has a three-way switches, bright switches on each channel.
So yeah, what is the running at the Plex like for the Van Halen thing?
Oh, you don't use the bass channel. You just use the treble channel and everything.
Right. You don't use everything on 10, treble channel. But what about the bright switch and full bright?
It doesn't matter because it's on 10. It's out of the equation.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can switch it any which old way, and it doesn't matter because you're shunting right across it, so it's not doing anything.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
But the cool thing is, if you do have the big bright cap on, and you just turn the volume down to like 8, it'll get a little tighter, little tighter, and a little more snarl to it, without really losing any gain.
Oh, nice to know. Okay, cool.
Bright caps are always very, very, very confusing for people that don't know anything about amps. Makes total sense to me, but I know what's going on with it, and like, oh yeah, I can do this and do that. But for average user, they just switch it on and then turn it down really low, and they're like, oh god, it sounds like an AM radio. What the, and it's like,
right.
No,
that makes some sense. Yeah.
That's why in a lot of my other amps, I don't put switchable bright caps on things, because I try to get it where it's more user friendly. It's like less ways you can make it sound bad. That's important sometimes.
Yeah. Daniel Belensky, the follow-up here. I plan to use the Musicom Paralyzer as a MIDI mixer, 2X PCM 70 plus H3000. Runs at plus 4 dBu per the manual. My amp's effects loop is a diesel Herbert with a range from about negative whatever to plus.
You're fine then. Just wire it up, put it in the loop, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah. And all the units will be on plus 4 setting, like the PCMs and stuff.
Roger Dat, thank you for the super chat. Aloha, gentlemen. Mr. Caswell, thank you for your early contributions towards amp tones that defined our era. Dave and Mark, thanks for promoting this legend. Awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
You didn't know at the time that you would later have that comment.
Yeah, I was just a guitar player trying to get the amp to sound the way I wanted it to.
I think that's
my friend James Lum bugging me to get more gain. That's really all it was. I didn't think at the time. I never thought I'd actually manufacture stuff. I was a repair guy.
Yeah. It's crazy how that works in the end.
So when did this happen? Randall Smith confessed to ripping off Mike Soldano with his dual rectifier?
Oh, I don't know. I saw something. Randall did his little podcast thing he does,
right.
The video thing. And I saw it was all about the rectifier. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't watch it.
Well, good kudos to him if he does.
Yeah.
Now he needs to write him a check.
For the 50,000 plus rectifiers that have been made.
Yeah. All those 90s rectifiers that just sold when they could have been a Soldano.
That thing doesn't really, to me, sound much like an SLO, but I don't know. Maybe it was
No.
just inspired by the SLO or something.
Well, if you look at the circuit, it's pretty damn spot on in a lot of ways. But the power section is definitely different. And we did a little. I do this other little show sometimes that we did a little deep dive on that a little bit, looking at the differences of the two. But it's reasonably spot on. But the power section is not. It's way different.
I haven't seen a schematic on the Recto, so
yeah, it's really similar. A few different values and things, but
he used the
famous 39K cold clipping.
Right.
Yeah, that freaks me out. I've never been able to get that, wrap my head around that.
That's really cold. Yeah,
sounds ragged to me, but
it does. Well, I mean, to be honest, I mean, to be honest, I mean, a Soldano with that in it has a sound, but it has a sound that he created. At times, I almost think it sounds, when you said ragged, at times it almost sounds a little fuzzy to me, like in a sort of ragged sort of way. I understand that comment, actually.
But that's when I play it. When other people play it, it sounds fine to me. So
yeah, it records well. It became a sound, and I would venture to say a good sound. But I totally understand what you mean.
Brian Hill, Tim, could you please tell us about your interaction with Warren DeMartini? Is it true that Rat used a Marshall with your number 39 Mon on Out of the Cellar? If so, which version of the Mon was it? Stage 1?
Okay. I had no interaction with Warren at all. I mean, he's a great guitar player. It sounds to me that he's using number 39 on the Rat stuff. It sounds that way, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah, he had a long Warren had a long relationship with Frank Levi too. So it would be a possibility that that amp came from SAR, and it would be a possibility, Yeah. And then I've seen amps that Frank did for Warren later that, I mean, they're not that amp though, that they're different, but it was more of an 800 front end that he would just crank the power section. So basically you're kind of getting a plexi with a little extra gain stage, a little cold clipping gain stage in there. But Frank, I know Frank had done that stuff for him. I also saw one that had a post phase master in it with a 800 front end, basically.
I've been talking to this guy in the UK named Gavin Bernard, who's he's been researching the heck out of the 80s. He's a Guns N' Roses fan. He's a real good guitar player too, and he's been really trying to put together timelines of who was when, where, and what, so we can try and figure out what actually happened back then. It's kind of interesting. He's pretty close to publishing his findings. I helped him build an amp. He's in the UK, but I helped him build an amp that is what, after going through all this around and around again, what we kind of are pretty sure is what's on AFD. And he's working on duplicating the sound and getting it recorded, and all the different variables. He's talked to the second engineer on the sessions, what mic, where it was, what the board was, and what effects. So he's been trying to exactly duplicate the sound, which is it's not just the raw amp sound, it's also the recorded sound. Everything that happened in the studio, and he's getting really, really close. He's trying to document everything so that it's not, well, this guy said this guy said that. He's trying to find dates, numbers, things so that he can back it up, and he's pretty close to letting that out.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
I've helped him as much as I could. He's jogged my memory quite a bit. I really hadn't thought about that stuff, and the more I think about it, the more, oh yeah, okay, I remember another thing. There was Anyway, there's a 1977 Mark II that I modded at SIR, and it was originally a 2-channel, so I plugged the channel 2 holes with chrome plugs and turned it into a 2203, and then I did my gain boost mod to it, and I used Dymo labels over the controls that were different, and which is the idea I got from Paul Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
And at any rate, in the Guns N' Roses video for Sweet Child of Mine, I can see that amp behind Slash clearly. It doesn't mean it's on the record, but it's in the video for Sweet Child of Mine.
It's probably a good chance it might be on the record then.
Well, yeah, it was it was that close to Slash anyway.
So what was that mod then? That was
that was the stage 1 mod.
Stage 1 mod?
And that's the big controversy is, did the AFD amp have an extra tube or did it not? That's the big controversy.
Right.
So Gavin's trying to prove what it is. I can't can't let the cat out of the bag yet. He wants to have all his ducks in a row before he says anything, because a lot of people are going to attack him probably instantly.
It could be, but I mean, I don't know. I don't hear that as being like an crazy amount of gain.
No, I don't think so either. And the guy that wrote the original article, that Sweet Marshall of mine, I modded an amp for him, and he loaned it to Slash, and so Slash had it on the number 39 setting with the extra tube. And his comment was, "Too much gain, sounds like George Lynch." So that was kind of telling.
Yeah,
for sure.
Got a question here from Scott Manfra. Dave, why is the use of the small box type PCB mounted sealed pots seen as only being used in cheap amps? I know you have used them and they are used in some Victor amps as well.
Why is the use of small box type PCB mounted sealed pots? Well, they're not really. They're not. First of all, you don't really have a lot of choices in pots anymore. I mean, there's so few full size pots to even use in an amp these days. It's like it doesn't. There's alpha pots. Alpha pots are fine, but I've had some problems with alpha pots in recent. The reason I switched to those on some products switched to the small PCB pots was, one, I could do a great PCB with them, and that makes sense to me, because I'm not a believer in hand wired is the holy grail of everything, because it's not consistent. You have way more mistakes. You have people that make them, which they make mistakes. People make mistakes. It's wires in different spots. It changes how things react or oscillate or not oscillate or all sorts of things. So with a properly designed PCB, you can get way more consistent results, make it easier to manufacture with way less mistakes. So as far as the pots I would choose ones that I like, and they are sealed pots. They're good pots. But I mean, that's my explanation for all of it, I mean, there's some crap pots out there you can use that are PC mounted too, but it just depends on which brand and what kind and what you're using and what their track record has been. I think so I used those in the Plex amp I did, and out of 600 of those amps made, the only I think I had one or two bad pots that were just kind of a fluke. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
600 amps, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not seeing anything. The thing is, when you put a product in production in a large scale, you will see if there's any cracks in the machine, so to speak. You will see if there's a part that you thought was going to be great. If you start to see it fail, you will like note to self, never use that again.
Mhm.
You know, find alternative right away. You know, because you'll see it's just like tubes too. It's just like the tubes I choose to use are the most reliable ones that I can use at the time, and if they start to have a problem, you start to see it right away. You know, you start to see it or I do, because I unfortunately do the customer service.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun part.
Or
of the
fortunately, it depends on how you look at it. But I like to keep my hands on it so I can know what's going on. And believe me, it can happen. You can get a bad batch of capacitors or something, or a manufacturer screws you, and you know, basically they gave you a bad product and you put it in your product, and then it starts failing, and then everyone thinks your product starts failing. Hold on a minute. No, that's not necessarily the case.
Ugh.
I'm sure you've experienced that over time somewhere, you know?
The synthesizers, oh Lord, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like,
getting harder and harder to get decent through-hole parts, and pots especially. Oh,
yeah, pots especially. So,
ICs, the capacitors we used to like, it's getting harder and harder. Ugh.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then when you get bad ones, or fake ones, uh,
Dave, can you clarify what the SS100 is based off of? Plexi?
all right, let's clear something up here. A Plexi and a JCM 800 power sections are basically this exact same power section. So that's more about the preamp circuit than the power section. The power I mean, there's been some variations slightly over the years, of course, but the power section is basically a Marshall style power section. At 800 and or a early 70s amp, or even the late 60s amp. The power sections are basically exactly the same. So let's throw that out. So it's not really based on one or the other. It's based on a 100-watt Marshall style power section. So there's the answer.
Okay.
Is the preamp the preamp isn't really, like, for instance, our JEL amp that we make, that preamp has its roots in an 800 circuit, but different. The SS has its roots, I guess, in a little more of a Plexi style circuit. So I guess sort of Plexi / Jose / something. It's kind of a Marshall with an extra gain stage, basically. With a certain component, you know, it's like it's slightly different chilies, you know.
Okay.
there's a lot of shades of variations you can get by just changing a few parts here and there.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 parts, and it's like radically different. So
that's the beauty of analog.
Yeah, we like that.
So so current day, what are you doing now, Tim?
We're making synthesizers. We just did a major update on our flagship, which is an 8-voice rack mount synthesizer. So we're back ordered for several months on those. We're making them as fast as we can, and that thing costs $10,000, but it's very complicated. I mean, there's a zillion parts in there.
Hey, you can go to his website. It's studioelectronics.com.
Yeah, there'll be some demos on there, and my partner's brother, Mark St. Regis, does the demos. He's a brilliant keyboard player and musician. He's got some crazy demos.
That's cool.
Basically analog synths.
Yeah, digitally controlled analog. That's kind of what I fell into over time.
Wow. I just saw the picture of it. I'm going to share the screen.
Oh, that's cool stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Some great scrolling pictures. I looked at it myself, right? And then it should just scroll. Oh no, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the latest. Yeah, or is it?
Wow.
No, that's the V30. Yeah, that's our update on the original rack mount mini mug that we started making in the late '80s. That's our updated rack mount mini mug. That's the SE1. That was my first original synth design. That's SE3 actually, to be precise, but that was the early '90s.
Now,
We're still making that.
People can run a guitar through these if they wanted to, right?
Not exactly.
No, you can't.
Not so much on that. The V30 that does have an external preamp. The V30 you can play through. It doesn't have a envelope follower trigger or anything. The original Omega 8 voice had a input on every channel with a variable trigger circuit, and it turned out people weren't really using it, so we took that away and added some other stuff instead on the latest version.
Wow, this is amazing stuff and very complicated.
That's a fun box. Paul McCartney has 2 of those.
Wow. And what does it do?
It's a mini mode kind of, basically, although we make them with different filters. The 4072 has the ARP filter. We make it with a CS80 filter, Moog filter, the ARP filter, SEM filter. It's a fun little box. It's stuffed full, though. I don't like to work on it if I don't have to.
Oh, this is great. This is really great stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's been doing it a long time.
Big boy.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I imagine, you were saying they're pretty expensive.
You make all our stuff tends to be, because it's it's handmade in the USA. And of course, without getting political, the tariff situation is not helping.
Oh no, not at all.
So it's, we just don't make those parts in the United States. So basically, all my parts cost 25% more than they used to.
Or is it like 55%?
Well,
who knows? That changes weekly.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, that's great stuff. That's amazing. So do you end up going to NAMM, Tim? Do you like show your stuff off at NAMM?
I think I've been to maybe 25 NAMM shows over the years, but I'm pretty burnt out on it now.
Okay. Yeah.
Last time I went to one, it was just a perfect storm of my shoulder was killing me. I got laryngitis, and so I was miserable, and I got lost a few times because I hadn't been there in such a long time in the traffic, and I just came away going, I'm not in a hurry to come back to this place.
I wish. I unfortunately have to go every year.
Dave feels your pain.
I understand that. I understand.
Yeah.
I often wish I could just go, no.
I mean, even if you're in LA, it's still a huge hassle. If you're out of town, I can't believe how hard it would be.
Yeah, I don't mess around though. I'll go and I'll stay down there. I don't, and I'm at a point in my life too where I'm just like, I'm staying at the Marriott, and that's it, because I can just walk straight into the convention hall and make it really simple. If I need to go back to my room at some point in time, it's really simple.
Yeah,
and I see friends, which I like. I like that part about NAMM. That's good.
I do miss that.
I see old friends that I haven't seen, and the social aspects of it are fun. But I paid dearly for that hotel room though.
Yeah, right.
The whole thing gets more expensive all the time. I mean, charging for every electrical outlet and the carpet and the chairs in your booth, and
oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's crazy stuff. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
but if it wasn't for the NAMM show, I wouldn't have got to meet Bob Moog and people like that.
Right.
Leo Fender.
Yeah. You get to meet some really great people there. That's for sure. I met Michael Anthony. I met Phyllis Fender. She was at the G&L booth, which will no longer be there because G&L is
Nope.
gone. Now Fender owns the rights to Leo Fender's likeness. So that'll be interesting. Let's see. I think we've gone through all the questions. So guys, make sure you check out studioelectronics.com and you can check out all the stuff that Tim is doing. Also check out Legendary Tones, where you can get the 1987 mod based on the number 39 famous amp. And that's, you can pre-order that. That'll be coming out in December. And what else?
Check out Friedman website for the Black Friday sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not on amps, but pedals, but IR pedals also.
I had to get to my partner. We're not doing a Black Friday sale. I had to bug my partner about that.
There you go. You need to jump on the bandwagon. Yeah. So, and we're also having George Lynch on, I think, next show. So we'll be talking about what's going on with George.
He's bringing in all his amps to be serviced on Monday.
Is he really?
Well, not all his amps, but a couple of them.
Yeah, he has quite a few. I hear.
He has tons.
You're going to be busy if that's the case.
Yeah, no, not all of them. Not all of them. Fortunately,
I was at the NAMM show one time, and I was hanging out with Mike Soldano in his booth, and George had endorsed a PV model at the time.
Yeah,
he was in the PV booth playing it, which was not far from Mike's booth. And a friend of mine came over and he goes, "Hey, you should go over there and hassle George about playing at PV." I was thinking, hey, that'd be funny, but Mike's going, no, I'm not doing that.
That's too funny. I can see Mike not wanting to do that. Lance Lucifer says, gotta have that 1987 mod.
Cool.
Yeah, make sure you ordered it.
It's like candy. You can buy them like candy. It's not too much money, and you can take your JMP or your JCM 800 or JCM 800 reissue and pop it in there, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, the very, very easy way to greatly juice up your amp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great thing. I need to get an 800 style amp.
They are wonderful. They can't really use them live hardly anywhere anymore, but darn it, they sure are fun.
Yeah. Well, I have your the Gel 20.
Yeah.
Which is, but it's already a goosed up.
Yep.
800. So,
well, unless you use it in 800 mode.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So guys, I just, make sure you check out, like I said, studioelectronics.com and check out all the stuff that Tim is doing. Tim, can't thank you enough for coming on the show.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might contact you about some stuff.
Yeah, please do.
If you're interested in some things, we can talk about it later.
Interested in amp stuff. I just, can't really make them myself here, but I'm always interested in doing something that way.
Yeah, that might be interesting. Be fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear what you guys come up with. So awesome, guys. Well, have a great weekend, everybody. Make sure you check out our social media. Please hit subscribe, click the button. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And Tim, hang on while we say goodbye, all right? Offline. All right. Everybody take care. Have a great weekend.